Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Um, how's everybody doing today? Hey, Kim. Hey, Casey, Maura, Susan, Jenna B. It's true crime, Jenna. What? I'm a true crime channel, so a lot of these cases have to do with children. Are you going to go yell at court TV? I mean, what? It makes no sense. Yeah, I'm gonna if the case involves children, yes. I mean, a lot of the cases do. Get out of here. Get out of here, Jenna. Make it make sense. I'm a true crime channel and I'm doing a case. A lot of these cases involve children, unfortunately. Just like any other true crime channel, a lot of their cases do too. I mean, Wade though, Wade actually didn't involve children in his case, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I was saying hi to her, and then I read her thing, and I was like, "Oh, shoot! Thank you, Maura. I didn't block you, Jenna. You're right there. We could see you. Quit acting like I block. I don't block people. I'm not a blocker. Okay. If something doesn't show up, a lot of times YouTube has bots, but I could see you right there, pretty girl. Oh my lordy, somebody's having a bad day. Hey, Judgment, here with the Tish Rush in the house. Thanks, Grammy Sue. Thanks, Cicely. Um, Crazy that people have such a boring life that they have to come into somebody they don't like and complain. Anyway, okay, so I saw that Shanda is gonna be back in court trying to request a new trial. Okay. So I was gonna do like a quick update on it, and then I seen that Court TV Vinny, like the last time, remember? He did a video, and there's some new footage on it that I've never seen. It's like kind of like documentary type thing about the Shonda case. Because she's gonna be July 25th, she's gonna have a new hearing to see if she could get a new trial. Whether or not they're gonna let her, I don't know. I'll show you what she's claiming. Now, there's a 75-page document that I requested, so I don't know when I'll get it, but it's 75 pages and it's her response basically of why she thinks she should have a new trial. So when I get that, I will definitely read it. I'll do a video and we could read it, but I don't have it yet. So and then there's that interview with G that Vinny plays a couple, little clips from, and then some of the body cam that we haven't seen the whole thing yet. So can't even talk. Requested that too, so we could watch the whole thing. And yeah, but looks like a good little documentary I want to watch with you, or a good little video that he put together again. But let me read real quick the reasoning, at least a summary of why Shonda wants a new trial. And then when I get that 75-page document, we'll get more in depth of what the heck is she trying to say. I mean, she said something about being in a catatonic state during trial, and yeah, go ahead, get a new trial. You're gonna get found guilty again, though. So there's no way out of it, Shonda. I'm sorry, there is absolutely no way out of it, in my opinion. Okay, so I will read you a couple quick little articles, and then we'll watch the video together. Jocelyn, what's up, girl? Yeah, this is Shanda VanderArk. So her and her son Paul Ferguson. Think what was he, 18 or 19? I'm gonna forget some of the specifics of the case. I used to know it like the back of my hand because I covered it for a while. A little while. So they starved Timothy, which is Paul's brother, her son, starved him and used to give him hot sauce for punishment, to give him these horrible punishments, put him in ice baths, make him stay in the bathtub, the hot sauce. I mean, it's just such a sad, miserable case. If you go back through my playlist, Shonda, you'll see. I was able to get the jail calls with Paul and Shonda too, or separately. So they're interesting. Those jail calls are pretty interesting, but horrible. The trial, it only was like what, 3 days long or 2 days long, but they found her what, in a half hour, I think it took, guilty. Sickening. just starving him and torturing him and getting her other son to take part. And they did it together. Oh, it's horrible, Jocelyn. It's such a sad case. It really is. Okay, so let me share this article real quick. Actually, before I do that, before I read that one, let me read this one. Okay, so here's one of the articles. Like I said, I have 2 articles I want to read, and then we'll watch the video because then I'll give people time to come in because I don't want them to miss the video. The video looks interesting. I watched little bits and pieces. I was listening to it, and I didn't get to watch it straight through yet because then I was like, shoot, this I want to do a live instead of a quick update. Let's do a live, like, so I can watch it with you guys because I was just gonna do like the update about the new trial. But okay, so here we go. Let me read this. All right. So it's mom who tortured son to death claims she was in catatonic state during trial. So this is Timothy. Now, this was him a few years before he died. So he was older than this. What was he, 15? He said, I'm forgetting some of the specifics of the case because it's, when you do so many and then so much time passed, sometimes I have to get refreshed on like that specific. I think he was 15, right? I could be wrong, but he was a kid. And then Paul, I think, was 18 or 19, and he took part in it. Paul got 100 years. What do you get? 35 to 100 years. Shanda got life, obviously. But yeah, that's Shanda. Remind me how old he was. I'm remembering 15 in my head, but let's see if it says it here. Yeah, 15-year-old. I was remembering right. Okay. So, it says, Shanda VanderArk, the woman convicted of murder for torturing her teen son to death, is asking for a new trial in one of Muskegon County's most horrific child CA cases. The request comes nearly 3 years after 15-year-old Timothy Ferguson was found dead, merely skin and bones inside a closet. A motion hearing for a new trial has not been scheduled in Muskegon County Circuit Court. It has been, though, July 25th. So this one's a couple, like a month, almost a month old, but there is. Okay, it says VanderArk 46 is serving a life sentence at the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility in an open murder charge for Timothy's murder. Her appeal to the state's Court of Appeals is pending. Timothy suffered unimaginable forms of punishment at the hands of his mother and older brother, Paul, during his final 6 months alive. Timothy's death shook the community and those who worked his case. He weighed 69 pounds when he was found dead on July 6, 2022, in the family's Norton Shores home. Shanda was arrested that morning and charged with open murder and first-degree CA 2 days later. 69 pounds, I think he was like forget his height, 5'6", 5'9", forget. Okay. And it says, mom says nothing before she's sentenced to prison for torturing her son to death. She was deemed competent to stand trial about 5 months after Timothy's death. During the week-long trial, the jury heard in disturbing detail how VanderArk and Ferguson, so how Shanda and her son Paul, abused and tortured Timothy. Jurors reached guilty verdicts after a little over an hour. Sorry, it was a little over an hour. I don't know why I was thinking half hour. So a little over an hour, they reached guilty verdicts. Oh, and Paul basically testified against her. So he got like a deal kind of, where he thought he was going to get way less time. So it was just great seeing his face because he took part in it just as much. So when he was like kind of looking down and they read 35 50, or 100 years, or was it 50, 100? I don't know. He looked up and he was like, because he thought he was going to get like what, 10, 20 years. But anyway, he testified against his mom. And VanderArk was sentenced in January 2024. Oh, yeah, right here it says 50 to 100 years. I don't know why I had 35 in my head. So 50 to 100. Oh, no, never mind. That's hers. VanderArk was sentenced in January 2024 to life in prison without possibility of parole for Timothy's murder. She was also sentenced to 50 to 100 years for first-degree CA. VanderArk says she was not competent to continue with the trial, citing reported statements about her mental incompetency according to a recently filed 75-page motion for a new trial or evidentiary hearing obtained by Muskegon Chronicle. So like I said, that order is on the way. So when I get it, I will read it to you guys. The motions filed by her attorney claim VanderArk was in a catatonic state throughout her trial. VanderArk did not return to the courtroom during the final day of her trial due to a medical issue. Yeah, she didn't have to go for the final day of trial. And she act like, oh, she took the stand, she testified. Those of you, because there's some people that don't know the case, guys, so that's why I'm talking like, explaining some things that happened. So she took the stand, testified, and act like she threw up when she saw a picture of Timothy. Yet she was looking at him every day for that last month leading up to his death. She was looking at him in person. And then she pretends when she sees the picture of him to be like, oh, and then acts like she threw up. Such a faker, such a freaking faker. Anyway, dude, okay. Since VanderArk was not competent to continue with trial, her convictions must be vacated because her due process right to be tried while competent was violated, the motion states. VanderArk also claims she was denied effective assistance of counsel. Concerns for Timothy's well-being started when he was 18 months old and about 1,000 miles from Michigan. A months-long MLive investigation revealed that the Child Protective Services in Oklahoma investigated the Ferguson family home 9 times during Timothy's life. Social workers removed Timothy and his siblings from the parents' home on one occasion due to safety concerns. Timothy's father, Eric, was later granted full custody of the 4 children, while VanderArk was given 3 hours of supervised visits each month. Yet in 2021, the father sent Timothy to Norton Shores despite a court order limiting the mother's contact with the boy to live with VanderArk. So she wasn't supposed to have him legally. The dad basically thought, I mean, he claimed that he thought that he didn't realize that. So anyway, Timothy was dead within a year's time under his mother's care. Paul, who pleaded guilty to first-degree CA, is serving a minimum, so it was 30. See, I knew I had 30. I have 35, but 30-year minimum and 100-year maximum is how it was. So 30-year sentence at the Oaks Correctional Facility for his role as the enforcer in the abuse. And then when I will show you real quick, right here where it shows where that her scheduled court date is the 25th. Next hearing, oh, can you guys see that? So her next hearing is July 25th at 10 a.m., which if they do live stream it, I'll do it. If they're going to have videos in it, which I'm not sure if they will, but if they do, we'll do it up and see what she's looking like these days. Okay, so then here is, let me read this article real quick and then we will watch it. Okay. So it says a Michigan mother convicted of murdering her 15-year-old son with special needs is due in court after requesting a new trial. Shanda was sentenced to life in prison without parole, plus an additional 50 to 100 years in prison for murder and first-degree CA for the July 6, 2022 death of Timothy Ferguson. One of Timothy's brothers pleaded guilty to a charge of first-degree CA and was sentenced to 30 to 100 years in prison, admitting to a pattern of disturbing abuse while testifying against his mother at her trial. Paul said that he had acted as the enforcer for his mother and said that at her direction, he forced his younger brother to eat hot sauce, deprived him of food, and left him in ice baths for hours at a time. Timothy, who at 15 was only 68 inches tall and 69 pounds at the time of his death, was routinely handcuffed and forced to sleep in a closet, according to Paul's testimony. One text message entered as evidence during VanderArk's trial was sent to her by Paul 1 month before Timothy's eventual death from malnutrition and dehydration. And so Paul messaged his mom, Sandra, saying, "He's bone thin, Mama. I honestly think we need to actually feed him." And she has the nerve to keep saying he's faking it. Seeing, oh, what is this? Hold on a second. Why would that be? Okay. Sorry. She just makes me sick. Okay, so this is actually given a little nice summary for people that aren't familiar before we start the video. It's why do you just keep doing this, guys? Heck. I don't even have McAfee and I tried to delete it. I've deleted it. I never even actually I never even had it on this computer. What the heck? It's really making didn't that happen the last time I was wait a minute. Remember the last video I played on the Vinnies? Remember it was doing the same thing? I don't know why this page. Anyway, I'll try to do it real quick. When she took the stand, VanderArk pointed the finger at her son, claiming that Paul was one who concocted the abusive discipline methods in her home. She blamed Paul like Paul did it. VanderArk is currently scheduled to appear in court July 25th for a motion hearing regarding her request for a new trial. VanderArk is claiming she wasn't competent to stand trial, and her attorney claims she was in a catatonic state throughout the trial. Okay, so let's watch this video. She is something else. This case, oh. And if you guys want to learn about it, I have so much stuff on this case, documents, videos, calls, incident reports and stuff. My playlist, I think it's labeled Shanda VanderArk and Paul Ferguson maybe playlist. It's a sad case. So I mean, trigger warning, just be prepared if you want to learn about it. It's sickening. Okay, so let's watch this.
Just outside of Grand Rapids, Michigan, in Norton Shores, stands an ordinary-looking house on a quiet cul-de-sac, indistinguishable from its neighbors. But behind those unremarkable walls, a horrific crime unfolded, one whose abject cruelty would shock even the most seasoned detectives. The crime could not have occurred without an accomplice, leaving police to grapple with a chilling question. Was this person a willing participant, or had they been manipulated into torture and then murder by a person whose actions can only be described as pure evil?
The call came in as a boy not breathing and felt cold to the touch.
And I've been checking on all night because he's feeling the last night, and I woke up feeling the look one, and he's not breathing.
Sean Stefanich of the Norton Shores Police Department was one of the first officers to respond to the scene. He entered the two-story residence and descended a set of stairs into a bedroom where he was greeted by a horrific sight.
What kind of fish he calls? That's what I hear. He looks like he's 50 pounds. What do you say, 15 days, Mr. That's more than 15 days. I always think.
At the officer's feet lay the emaciated body of a teenage boy, later identified as 15-year-old Timothy Ferguson, dressed in a sweater and jeans that hung loosely from his skeletal frame.
I've dealt with hundreds of homicide investigations. I've seen crime scenes. I've seen dead bodies. I've seen everything. And nothing even comes close to this. The pictures of him in the home and the pictures of him at the autopsy are just haunting.
After viewing the body, Officer Stefanich spoke with Timothy's mother, Shanda VanderArk, as he attempted to piece together what had happened. According to Shanda, Timothy was so skinny because he had been on a hunger strike.
I had no idea. I would have taken him in or something. Oh.
You said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning?
She recalled that she had had some contact with him the night before, and he had said something to her, and she tried to give him a hug, and he said, "No, Mama," and kind of pushed her away, and then he just went downstairs to his bedroom.
Shanda said she heard Timothy fall off the bunk around 5:30 a.m., and when she found him unresponsive, she immediately called 911.
And I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck?
But her story immediately aroused suspicion among the other first responders.
The story that she's given is that she last talked to him at 5:30. He's Like he's got stiff rigor mortis, like his jaw's starting to lock up. There's no way that she talked to him to fight her. No way.
As other officers arrived, they made more strange and unsettling discoveries.
Handcuffs here. It's like a webcam right there. I didn't even notice that. House source? What the hell?
Refrigerator?
Yeah, in the freezer. 5 blocks. The key to get in. It's just everything in there is weird. There's webcams all over the place in the basement. If you go into the bathroom, it'll sit there and... That's weird.
When confronted, Shanda explained that Timothy had been diagnosed with autism and other developmental disorders.
He was a difficult child to deal with. That was sort of the explanation for some of the locks and some of the cameras.
Police also interviewed 2 other individuals present in the house when Timothy died. His younger brother, whom we'll refer to as G, and his older half-brother, Paul.
All right. The 4 of you live here? Normally would be 5. It was.
They had interviewed him, and he had sort of told kind of the same story in terms of Timothy had been on a hunger strike, and Timothy was a difficult child, and things of that nature.
Initially, investigators ran into a dead end when they inspected the many webcams scattered throughout the house.
Ultimately, what we learned is that that data could not be retrieved either because it was off, on servers in countries that we couldn't touch, or it had been deleted.
When investigators asked Shanda to come to the Norton Shores Police Department to give a more extensive statement, they hit a wall.
She arrived with an attorney who indicated that she was not prepared to make a statement at that point, as is her right, obviously.
With Shanda no longer cooperating, investigators were left trying to piece together a series of sinister clues to solve the mystery of Timothy's death. Hot sauce in odd locations, locks on the refrigerator and freezer, a basement filled with prying webcams, including one that monitored a small closet with an external lock.
I don't think anybody knew what was happening inside that house.
That is, until the interview with G.
I recall that day actually quite vividly. I was just getting ready to sit down to dinner, and I got a call from a friend of mine. She had conducted the interview with the minor child who was in the home, and she called me because she was just absolutely floored. She just could not believe what she was hearing.
The interviewer asked G a series of carefully structured questions. G's answers would give shocking insight into the sinister clues investigators had found in Shanda's home.
Before Timothy lived here, he lived his own family, and he actually did some bad stuff.
He was 8 years old at the time, had seen most of what had taken place, despite Shanda's efforts to try to shield him from some of it.
You said you don't want to talk about Timothy and your mom?
I don't want to talk about those two because bad boys with mamas do not mix.
They are asking questions in such a way as to elicit a truthful response. And in every regard, G's answers to those questions sort of checked the boxes for her so that she believed that he was being honest about it and talking about this basically a house of horrors that was going on inside the home.
What would he do to be a bad boy?
Like, talk to me, try to sneak food, try to sneak some water. And one of his punishments, for every time he did a bad boy thing, he gets a dose of hot sauce. A hot spicy sauce.
Yeah. And you said to me, so who decided what the punishments were going to be?
Mama.
Everything was monitored. Everything was measured. Everything was controlled by her down to what he was eating.
Do you guys have a camera in your house?
Yes, we have some cameras.
Okay, what are the cameras for?
They're for watching Timothy before he died today. And Mama would watch would be on the cameras and watch Timothy as hard as she can, even if she gets tired. But the once she's no longer tired of watching him, she watches him.
You said you thought some punishments were the reason Timothy died.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this one was one of them because it was uncomfortable. But over time, I think he had to do this in his small room.
While G's testimony was chilling, prosecutors needed more proof before they could charge Shanda. Then, a pivotal discovery blew the case wide open.
I didn't really check this one.
As it turns out, the camera that was in the closet actually did have a tiny micro SD card in it. I don't know if they just didn't realize that it was in there and didn't remove it and didn't destroy it. But for whatever reason, it was still in that camera when it was seized by the police. So we ultimately did get video footage from inside that closet.
The extremely disturbing video showed the final moments of Timothy's life and directly contradicted the story that Shanda had told police.
Yeah, you're out. I just want to make it look like he's in that bed. He's probably not. We're going in right. Yeah.
And then the medical examiner's report came in.
The autopsy ultimately revealed that the cause of death was malnutrition, extreme malnutrition combined with some unusual signs that you wouldn't expect. There was signs of hypothermia, which initially there was no explanation as to why he would be suffering from hypothermia. This was the middle of the summer.
Convinced they had enough evidence to charge Shanda with murder, prosecutors issued an arrest warrant.
We made the determination that we were going to charge her with open murder and first-degree child abuse for the death of Timothy Ferguson.
But to secure a murder conviction, prosecutors faced a daunting challenge, proving Shanda deliberately caused Timothy's death. That's where Paul came in.
The sound is kind of messed up. Gotcha.
We made the decision, it was within 2 or 3 days of her arrest, to see if he would cooperate with the prosecution here to ultimately to get to our goal, which was to convict Shanda of the murder here.
So how long do you think you were staying in that closet?
Couple of weeks, maybe.
If Paul agreed to testify against his mother, prosecutors agreed to recommend to the judge a sentence of between 9 and 15 years in prison.
People might say, well, you didn't necessarily need to work with Paul. I'd push back on that. Ultimately, him presenting himself to the jury in such a way as to show, like, yes, I did these things, but to sort of put a far more human face on it than frankly, that Shanda was able to do in any of her testimony or any of her efforts to fight these charges.
When we return, Shanda VanderArk goes on trial for the child abuse and murder of her teenage son, Timothy. After the emaciated body of Timothy Ferguson was found at his mother Shanda VanderArk's home, an autopsy revealed he died from extreme malnutrition and hypothermia. As Shanda's murder trial began, the prosecution wasted no time in laying out the shocking details in the case against her.
How does a 15-year-old child die as a result of malnutrition? How is a 15-year-old child 63 pounds under the average weight? How is a 15-year-old child in literally the 0 percentile for weight? He didn't just become 69 pounds overnight. He got that way over an extended period of time. And he got that way because the people, or primarily the person who was supposed to care for him, wasn't doing that. You don't have to take my word for it. You will hear in the text messages between Paul Ferguson and Shanda VanderArk the extent of the horrors they inflicted upon Timothy.
Due to the horrific nature of the alleged abuse, there would be no plea deal. The prosecution would only accept one outcome.
Our objective, obviously, right from the start, was to obtain a first-degree murder conviction through that felony murder process, which would mean that the judge would have no discretion, that the judge would have to impose a mandatory life without parole sentence.
The only person standing between Shanda and life in prison was her defense attorney, Fred Johnson.
He's the head of the public defender office in the county of Muskegon. He's a very good attorney. He makes great connections with juries, and he's really just an excellent attorney to deal with.
The feeling was very much mutual.
He is highly experienced, highly skilled, highly organized. He is a very difficult prosecutor to face across the hall because he's not going to make any mistakes.
In addition to mutual respect, the two attorneys had something else in common. They both knew Shanda VanderArk.
She had been a clerk for one of the judges here in the county, and I had met her in that capacity.
I first met Shanda VanderArk about a year or so before Timothy passed away. No indication from any interaction I had with her leading up to that point that she was just basically a prison guard, that she just kept her child imprisoned.
Now Shanda was being tried for murder in the very court where she used to work. And Johnson found himself in the unenviable position of defending someone who many considered to be a monster.
In your opening statements, the prosecutor goes first, and he's just created that person with the horns. My client will take the stand. You'll find out she's a highly intelligent person. So what you're trying to do is bring them back. She was clerking for judges. She was working and studying, and she was this close to achieving lifelong goals. What I wanted to do was humanize my client. I wanted them to think of her as a human being. Then she gets a call from her ex-husband. I'm putting Timothy out, the victim. You want him, or he's going to protect services. She takes him and sends him to me. I don't want my son and sister. Send them to me.
Unfortunately for the defense, the jury was about to hear detailed testimony that would call into doubt the basic humanity of both Shanda and her older son, Paul. One of the prosecution's most critical witnesses was the Muskegon County medical examiner, Dr. Joyce DeYoung.
The testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth.
Dr. DeYoung's role was to be able to tell the jury what physiologically took place that caused him to die. And she was able to determine that by conducting the autopsy. In your opinion, what was the cause of Timothy Ferguson's death?
His cause of death was dehydration and extreme emaciation due to malnutrition and starvation. He had really a loss of all of his body fat. His cheeks were very narrow. You could see and count all of his ribs. And on his back, he had started getting some pressure sores because there wasn't a lot of padding in between his bones and his skin as well. So where those areas had pressure, the skin was starting to break down.
But while dehydration and starvation were the main causes of Timothy's death, there was another contributing factor that initially made no sense.
There's another significant contributing condition, and that was something called exogenous hypothermia, meaning hypothermia, but it was from outside sources.
The internal examination is what really reveals the signs of hypothermia that we now know is associated with the ice bath that he was in, and that he was in an ice bath for about 12 hours, basically just hours before he passes away. Did you also render an opinion of the manner of death for Timothy Ferguson?
The manner of death is best classified as homicide. This death was caused by the actions of others to do harm or cause death.
While the chief medical examiner had provided the scientific explanation for why Timothy had died, it would be Shanda's own words, captured in thousands of text messages to her eldest son, Paul, that would paint the clearest picture of who it was that killed him.
The text messages for us really gave us a window into what was taking place. Timothy's every move was monitored somehow, whether that was through the cameras that were in the home or whether it was through Paul.
While at work, Shanda would monitor Timothy's every move and then direct Paul by text message to punish him whenever he misbehaved.
The text messages between those two were pretty damning evidence that prosecutors discovered. It showed a 6-month span of what they talked about, at least through text messages, as far as how Timothy was going to be punished, why he was going to be punished.
One of Shanda's favorite punishments was forcing Timothy to eat bread soaked in fiery hot sauce.
How is everything? Did you make him eat his bread with hot sauce?
I was just about to get up to get it. How many?
4 he has to eat with hot sauce. He's allowed another 4 without hot sauce, but he has to do the hot sauce first.
She would also punish Timothy by making him stand with his arms behind his head for hours on end.
Timothy is against the wall till you get home. Please clear the food and wrappers he stole earlier when you didn't set the motion sensor properly.
He would have to stand with his arms behind his head and had an alarm on so that if he moved, Paul would know or Shanda would know because she was monitoring from her phone.
She also directed Paul to control Timothy's access to food.
Timothy is no longer allowed anywhere near the fridge, freezer, or pantry or any other place where food is. You and I will have to get things for G.
Even food scraps were off limits.
What did he eat? I ate my burger already.
He ate the crust.
Go try and make him throw up, please. He's not hungry. He's just being a jerk.
She even instructed Paul to control Timothy's sleep.
He turned away from the camera, so I can't see if he's trying to sleep or not.
He's not.
If you're going to be there, why don't you go ahead and run another cold bath and stick him in it?
Paul would add ice cubes to the bath and forced Timothy to stay in it for hours. Eventually, Shanda restricted Timothy's movements to a closet she called the small room, often confining him there in arm and leg shackles.
That was Timothy's room. That was where Timothy slept. He did not sleep on his bed. He was sleeping in that closet on a tarp. There wasn't bedding, there wasn't a pillow, there wasn't anything. It was a tarp and a camera, and that was all that was inside that closet.
As Timothy's condition worsened, Shanda became convinced that he was faking it.
Crazy idea. Ask G if he wants some pizza rolls, and if he does, take one downstairs and offer it to Timothy and see what he does. Put it right in front of his mouth, but be ready to yank it back if he tries to eat it. Hold it right in front of his lips. How much do you want to bet that he's going to try to eat it?
A lot.
Agreed. Please do that and get back down there to make sure that he's not falling asleep.
As a parent, how does it even cross your mind to even think to do that? He's literally starving to death, and you're tempting him with food to see if he gets a reaction.
When we return, Timothy's older brother, Paul, an alleged accomplice to his own brother's murder, takes the stand.
Can you describe what was happening at that time and how he was restricted from getting access to food?
He was sneaking food that was not necessary at that time.
Was a reporter brutally murdered for digging too deep?
His death was absolutely devastating.
The suspect, a former politician and subject of the victim's story on corruption.
Can you tell us anything?
Now will Robert.
Oh, you guys, I'm like reminded about this case, all this. I haven't looked into this case since
Investigative.
you know, how many months has it been? Has it been almost it's probably been a year now, right? Oh, it's
Prosecution had initially used text messages to show how Shanda VanderArk directed her son Paul to abuse Timothy. Now, they called Paul to the stand to show firsthand the impact of that abuse.
We'd already presented the text messages, so I didn't want to rehash all of that, but I wanted to really show it's not just words on a page. These things were actually taking place. As far as you know, from the time that Timothy came to live with you in May of 2021 in Norton Shores to the time of his death, was Timothy allowed to even leave the house? No. He was kept completely isolated. Even the people in the neighborhood didn't even know that Timothy existed because he was not allowed to go out into the front yard.
Paul's testimony vividly corroborated some of the more disturbing text messages shown to the jury by the prosecution.
Paul was the enforcer. He was the person who had been carrying out a lot of the punishments that Shanda had chosen to inflict upon Timothy.
At one point, she had me heat up a pizza roll to see if he would be responsive to enticement.
Did you actually do that?
Yes.
And what did you, so describe for the jury exactly what you did with that pizza roll with Timothy in the tub.
I held it close, and when he responded, as per instruction, I was to pull it away from him.
So did you actually do this?
Yes.
So you actually held a pizza roll in front of him to see if he would respond? Say yes?
Yes, sir.
I know it's difficult. Did he respond?
Yes, sir.
What did you do when he tried to respond?
I had to, or as I was told, I pulled it away.
So we didn't get to eat the pizza roll. I think Paul was being completely honest and open with us. He never tried to shy away from it. He never tried to say, even to minimize his role in things.
Paul also provided firsthand testimony of the systematic abuse Shanda directed at Timothy, including extreme confinement in the closet where he would ultimately pass away.
Were there any restrictions on his movement inside the closet, or was it he could move around however he wanted inside the closet?
There were restrictions. Hands on his head, normally.
Hands on his head, is that what you indicated?
Yes.
Is some form of discipline for him?
Yes. On his knees and against the corner of the wall of the room.
For how long would he have to do these things?
Several hours.
Were there also times when he was required to stand against the wall?
Yes, sir.
And when he would stand against the wall, how long were we talking about that he would be required to do that?
Hours, sometimes overnight.
But most importantly for the prosecution, Paul's testimony crucially and consistently established Shanda as the primary instigator of Timothy's tortured death.
Can you describe what was happening at that time and how he was restricted from getting access to food?
He was sneaking food that was not necessary at that time, and it was solved by placing locks on the fridge, freezer, and pantry.
When we say he was seeking food that wasn't necessary, who would make that determination that it wasn't necessary?
Shanda.
Paul's testimony was also crucial in showing that it was Shanda who demanded Timothy be given the ice bath. That would be a major factor in his death.
At some point, were you instructed to do something with him because he wouldn't wake up?
Put him in an ice bath.
And did you do that?
Yes.
How did you get him from the closet to the bathroom with the...
I had to drag him.
Was your mother giving you instructions on what to do with him while he was in that tub at that point in time?
Yes, sir.
What was she telling you to do?
Make him uncomfortable.
You said that you were supposed to make sure that he stayed uncomfortable. How were you supposed to make him uncomfortable in an ice bath?
Put his body at an odd angle that was not a comfortable position to be in.
When he was in the tub, when he tried to rest his head somewhere?
On his shoulder, yes. Or the lip of the tub.
Was that a while?
No.
Paul left work around 6 p.m. It would be the last time he would see his brother alive. Later that night, Shanda dragged Timothy from the bath to his small room.
I think it's actually the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. She holds his mouth shut, and when he breathes through his nose, she says, "See, dummy, you don't have to breathe through your mouth." And leaves him. And that is literally the last human contact that Timothy has with somebody before he passes away. When did you next become aware that something was happening with Timothy?
The next morning.
They go into the closet basically to wake him up, and obviously he's deceased at that point.
From that moment on, Paul becomes an eyewitness to the cover-up of a murder.
Do you remember what your mother said when you asked her if we should call 911?
She said no.
The second video recovered from the small room captures Shanda coaching Paul on what their cover story should be.
Before 911 is called, was there some discussion about a hunger strike?
Yes.
What was the discussion about the hunger strike at that point?
Shanda said to say that he'd gone on a hunger strike. We found him on the bed.
Seems obvious, but who is she referring to?
Timothy.
He was very upfront. His story never got mixed up. Paul was just kind of the icing on the top to really come through and say, yep, these are the things that we did, and just hit everything home.
Coming up, Shanda VanderArk takes the stand in an attempt to defend the indefensible.
Did you intend to hurt Timothy?
No, never.
Did you know he was being hurt?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
It's bullcrap, dude. She's like always said, "Oh, he's doing on purpose. He's just basically lying and trying to get them back and like trying to get us back." Oh,
Timothy's older brother provided damning testimony against his mother, detailing the horrific abuse he inflicted at the direction of his mother, including starvation, the force feeding of hot sauce, and ice baths. Shonda's defense lawyer, Fred Johnson, understood what he was up against.
The photographs were just horrific. These were the type of photographs that defense attorneys worried that the prosecutor is going to stand up and say, ladies and gentlemen, here are the photographs, and then sit down, because they don't need to do anything else beyond that.
The first step in Johnson's strategy to save Shanda from dying behind bars was to shift the focus away from Shanda and towards her son, Paul, who even the prosecution framed as the enforcer.
He was central to the case for us because he allowed us to give someone to the jury who had been crucial in the death of this child, for one thing.
After all, it was Paul who actually carried out the bulk of the punishments inflicted on Timothy.
According to your testimony and other things you said, you're the one who put the hot sauce in this boy's mouth.
Her orders, yes.
Timothy's mouth. You're the one who put the cuffs, the bracelets on, the ties on it, right?
Her orders.
You're the one who put him in the cold baths, correct?
Her orders.
You're the one who said in one of those texts that you've never wanted to beat somebody, beat somebody, and I forget the exact word, beat somebody so bad in your entire life. You said that were her orders.
No.
You also said that if something happens, I'm going to kill him. Was that her orders too?
No.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. But you're not charged with first-degree murder, are you?
No.
He was the enforcer. That he enjoyed inflicting the pain he inflicted on this boy. That he was the one who knew better. I sat here and I listened. I don't recall any other point where you told her no to anything she asked you to do. You remember any other point where you text, where we can show it in the text, where I told her, no, I'm not going to do that, Mom?
No.
From the standing in the corner to the hands on the head to the hot sauce to the shackles. Was his leg shackled? We found this metal shackle, the chain, leg chain. Were you familiar with those?
A little bit.
Did you put those on him?
When I was directed to.
When you were directed to, how many times were you directed to?
Right up to you.
Would you be surprised to know that there is no text where you even discuss the leg shackles, much less putting them on him? Would you be surprised by that?
Very.
He seemed to enjoy what he's doing. And did he mean for his brother to die? I don't think he did, but I have a harder time with him because I think he knew.
But there was really only one person who had the ability to explain away the text messages in Paul's testimony: Shanda herself.
In this case, my recommendation was not to testify, but she did testify. So ultimately, I tell her what my opinion is, but this is for all the marbles, and if the client wants to swing for the fences, I don't try to prevent them from doing so.
State your name for the record, spelling your first name and last.
Shanda, Shanda, VanderArk, VANDER, space capital ARK.
From the beginning of her testimony, Shanda sought to give innocent explanations for actions the prosecution had cast in an evil light.
Why did you have all those monitors and cameras in your home?
When Timothy came to live with us, his stepmother informed me that they had motion sensors. They weren't as tech savvy as I was. I worked in tech before law school. I worked in tech support for several years. But they had motion sensors and she told me that she didn't sleep at night. She only slept when he was at school because he was into everything.
What was your intent when you would administer punishments to Timothy?
To get him to behave.
Was it ever your intent to harm him?
No, absolutely not.
And what was the point of the hot sauce?
Because we had tried multiple other discipline methods, and he thought maybe that would get him to stop misbehaving.
Okay.
He suggested it to me, and I was so wrung out, I was willing to try just about anything.
All right.
And then caring for Timothy became even more difficult when Shanda's husband suffered a stroke.
I don't mean to suggest that I have empathy for her, because I don't, but it would be a very difficult situation to be in, where if you have another person who's in the home, who is helping you with everything, who then, because of the stroke, he then leaves the home, and now suddenly you're dealing with 3 kids, one of whom has some special needs. That would be a very difficult thing to deal with.
Let's do the hard stuff here. Jerry's seen pictures of Timothy. We've all seen pictures of Timothy at the time of his death. How could you not know he was there? How could you not know?
Honestly, I was barely functioning. I missed a lot. I hate it because, I feel like a complete failure, but there was things that I just didn't see. There was a lot that I didn't see, unfortunately.
When we come back, the prosecution confronts Shanda with a photo of her dead son, and the jury returns with a verdict.
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub?
What? So fake. You sat there and saw him every day that week leading up, that month, weeks leading up, looking like that. And then you're going to pretend like, oh, she's so fake. Oh my God. I can't stand her. Like the anger's coming back with her. With me about her. Oh, it's all coming back again. Oh my God. She's so horrible. Like,
Facing life in prison without the possibility of parole, Shanda VanderArk took the stand to argue that the death of her son Timothy was a tragic accident and not cold-blooded murder. But in his cross-examination, the prosecutor swiftly went on the attack.
My objective with the cross-examination was to start by having her talk about herself. Remind the jury again of your educational background.
I have a Bachelor of Science degree, magna cum laude, and then I also have a Juris Doctor.
Was it cum laude? No, summa cum laude from law school. So, just all these things. But my real purpose here is to show this is an intelligent person. And then I wanted to talk about the dog training. You also train service animals, correct?
I do.
And when you train service animals, is crate training involved at all? Because I was going to tie that back into, and did almost immediately, and she didn't even really see it coming, to talk about the hot sauce thing. So you never actually grabbed a dog, forced its mouth open, and poured hot sauce down its throat, have you?
No.
Never put hot sauce on a piece of food and then fed it to them, make them eat it, have you?
No, because I don't give my dogs human food. You can't do that with service animals.
No, but you did put it on dog food, didn't you?
I guess I've never even thought about that, honestly.
So it never occurred to you to use hot sauce, enforcing the use of hot sauce on a dog, but it occurred to you to use that as a form of punishment for your 14-year-old child?
It was Paul's idea, but yes, I was at my wit's end at that time.
And, she was just caught flat-footed at that point. And he liked hot sauce. Well, then it's not a punishment, is it?
The prosecutor had one more surprise in store for Shanda. During cross-examination, Shanda was now claiming she gave Timothy a warm bath the night he died.
If you're claiming you put your child in the tub hours before he dies of malnutrition, we all know what he looks like. He would have had to have looked like that when you put him in the tub.
So Robert selected a few crime scene photos of Timothy and walked over to confront Shanda.
So I walk up, I set the photographs down, and again, these are photos that she saw the week before and did not react to. This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub? She doesn't quite react at first, and then she, I'll say, pretends to throw up.
Those who were sitting close to Shanda when she appeared to get sick didn't buy it.
Sorry to see.
From the jury's point of view, If you're going to do that, you better vomit it in that box, because if you don't, they think you're deceiving them. And that's exactly what they thought. And I know because I asked them.
The prosecution saved one of its strongest pieces of evidence against Shanda for last. Video from inside the small room showing her continuing to mentally and physically abuse Timothy during the last moments of his life. Prosecutors feared that showing the video might overly bias the jury, so they had an officer who watched it describe the horror it contained.
Did it record any audio from Ms. VanderArk as she was pulling Timothy into the closet and positioning him on the floor?
It did. I could hear Ms. VanderArk tell Timothy that he is pathetic, and then adds, but I already knew that, as she was dragging him in. He can be seen, his chest rising, lowering very slightly, small little movements, and then there is a point in time where you stop seeing that, and his body just kind of relaxes, and it appears to me that he has died at that point.
After 3 days of testimony, the jury retired to consider Shanda's fate. They returned with a verdict in just over an hour.
Count 1, charging open murder involving the death of Timothy Ferguson. We find her guilty of first-degree felony murder. Count 2, first-degree child abuse. We find her guilty of first-degree child abuse.
The judge spoke directly to Shanda before sentencing her to prison for the rest of her natural life.
I'm choosing not to remember your son dead, looking like a Holocaust victim, but I'm choosing to remember like that. That's how he was. A beautiful child with a lot of life in his eyes. That's who your son was. I'm choosing to remember him as a happy individual with life. That's the picture I want people to remember of your son. You took that from him. You took it from him.
Coming up, Paul learns his fate, and Shanda prepares to appeal her conviction. After Shanda VanderArk was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, the spotlight turned to her son, Paul, who many believed bore equal, if not greater, responsibility for Timothy's death.
In February of 2024, Paul Ferguson appeared in this Muskegon County courtroom to face sentencing after pleading guilty to first-degree child abuse in the death of his brother Timothy.
What I ultimately asked the judge to do was to impose a sentence for Paul that fell within the Michigan sentencing guidelines.
For Paul, that meant a minimum sentence of 9 to 15 years, and he came prepared to express remorse.
If I could do it all again and do it right, I would. I feel I will pay for my choices and yet never feel better because he's still gone.
Paul probably thought he'd pay 9 to 15 years for his actions against Timothy, but the judge had other ideas.
I think all of us would like to believe that this is a product of manipulation, that this is simply somebody doing something that they were told to do, that they were afraid. And I think it's clear to me that Mr. Ferguson, although he says that he was scared of his mother, or there's an allegation of that standpoint, I find that just the opposite to be true based on those text messages. I don't think you have empathy. I don't think you have any emotion whatsoever. And that's what scares the court. And believe me, I have tried to sit here and try to think, well, maybe Mr. Ferguson's not as bad as Mom. I think you're just as bad, if not worse. You could have gone to a neighbor and said, hey, my mom's abusing him. You could have grabbed him and got him out of there. You could have done any number of things to stop this, and you chose not to. Your own brother. Based on all that, it's a sentence of the court. You serve 30 years to 100 years, Michigan Department of Corrections. Credit for 592 days you've already served.
It was clear from that sentencing that the judge held Paul basically just as responsible for Timothy's death as Shanda. And I have to respect the judge for that.
So the judge literally gave him 4 times plus more than the sentencing guidelines usually allow. And he's And he pointed out on the record why. And quite frankly, it's still a deal. And he'll do 30. That's terrible for him. But it's a better deal than he gave his brother.
Paul Ferguson is currently serving his sentence at Oaks Correctional Facility in Manistee, Michigan, and won't be eligible for parole for another 30 years. Shanda VanderArk is serving life without parole at a women's prison in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Both are appealing their sentences. Timothy may be gone, but his death did bring his older brother and sister together to honor his memory and speak on his behalf during Shanda's sentencing. Their message couldn't have been more clear.
If I can't have my brother back, she shouldn't have her freedom back. And lastly, I want everyone to know that to those who knew him, even that wouldn't feel like justice.
I want the woman who killed my little brother to face the highest punishment possible. I want her detained for the rest of her life so she can't hurt anyone else.
Wow. No, I just pulled up Paul's thing right here. No, he doesn't have anything going on. I mean, obviously he's appealing, they said, but there's nothing. There's no court date on the books. Nothing. It just says close date. So I don't know. I don't think anything yet really. God, bond 500,000. Bond canceled. Set bond. Yeah. 10-9. Just see if there's anything. Yeah, it doesn't look like. I kind of want to rewind because I was chatting and I wanted to see what there's a part when they were interviewing G that I missed and I wanted to hear it and I don't want to rewind because I don't know, I feel bad when I rewind it in the moment, but I just figured I'll just go back and watch it for a minute. Because I want to hear what he says in this one part. Do you guys mind? It was like at the very beginning. All right, let's see. Those, God, did you see Timothy's legs, his thighs, where his bone? Like, how could she freaking look at him? Because remember, when I got those text messages, remember the text that Paul sent to his mom and said, hey, you know, he's not looking too good. Well, they had sent that picture, right? And so it was about, I think it was 3 weeks before he died. And he looked horrible, skin and bones, 3 weeks before he died. So that means they were both looking, Shanda, like Paul, I mean, even Paul said he's not looking good. Shanda, oh no, he's just making up. He's just trying, he's lying. So that means Shanda, his mother, would look at him for 3 more weeks, looking that bad and probably getting worse and worse, and think he's not do anything, like torture him more. I just can't. She's evil. She's evil. She's evil. And then the fact that she's going to go try to say she wants a new trial, therefore she's not ready to, she can't, doesn't even admit that she did it, not even taking no accountability, still going to blame it on Paul. What a coward. That's a freaking coward. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me rewind. I don't think there was any right here. No, okay.
A horrific.
The call came in as a boy not breathing and felt cold to the touch.
And I've been checking on all night because they have a feeling about night, and I woke up feeling the look at one, and he's not breathing.
Sean Stefanich of the Norton Shores Police Department was one of the first officers to respond to the scene. He entered the 2-story residence and descended a set of stairs into a bedroom where he was greeted.
So real quick though, when they woke up and Timothy wasn't breathing and the cameras caught the audio. Actually, I have it. We can listen to it if you guys want to listen. The audio of her and Paul talking, get Paul trying to, she was basically making Paul give him CPR. And then you hear her say, that they were going to lie and say he went on a hunger strike. So you hear that their little plan. Just tell him he went on a hunger strike. So that's why he was so skinny. So you hear them call 911, but it's from inside the house because the cameras picked it up, and they got it. We could listen to that if you guys want. Does anybody want to listen to it? I just want to play. Sorry.
They made more strange and unsettling discoveries.
Handcuffs here. It's like a webcam right there. I didn't even notice that.
Handcuffs, shackles,
What the hell?
hot sauce in the bathroom, locks on the freezer, slept in a closet. That's the closet they made him sleep in with a camera right in his face. So even if he like turned and they couldn't see his face, they'd have to go and turn him around and make him turn around because she wanted to make sure she saw his face, like he was facing, like he couldn't even move. He slept on a tarp. I'm reminded, all this is coming back to me, how evil she is and what happened. I've not thought about this case in months. Oh my God, I hate her so much. She's horrible. Look, such a freak.
Claimed that Timothy had been diagnosed with autism and other developmental disorders.
He was a difficult child to deal with. That was sort of the explanation for some of the locks and some of the cameras.
Police also interviewed 2 other individuals present in the house when Timothy died. His younger brother, whom we'll refer to as G, and his older half-brother, Paul.
All right. The 4 of you live here? Normally, what
they had interviewed him, and he had sort of told kind of the same story in terms of Timothy had been on a hunger strike, and Timothy was a difficult child, and the things of that nature.
Initially, investigators ran into a dead end when they inspected the many webcams scattered throughout the house.
Ultimately, what we learned is that that data could not be retrieved either because it was off, on servers in countries that we couldn't touch, or it had been deleted.
When investigators asked Shanda to come to the Norton Shores Police Department to give a more extensive statement, they hit a wall.
She arrived with an attorney who indicated that she was not prepared to make a statement at that point, as is her right, obviously.
With Shanda no longer cooperating, investigators were left trying to piece together a series of sinister clues to solve the mystery of Timothy's death. Hot sauce in odd locations, locks on the refrigerator and freezer, a basement filled with prying webcams, including one that monitored a small closet with an external lock.
I don't think anybody knew what was happening inside that house.
That is, until the interview with G.
I recall that day actually quite vividly. I was just getting ready to sit down to dinner, and I got a call from a friend of mine. She had conducted the interview with the minor child who was in the home, and she called me because she was just absolutely floored. She just could not believe what she was hearing.
The interviewer asked G a series of carefully structured questions. G's answers would give shocking insight into the sinister clues investigators had found in Shanda's home.
Before Timothy lived here, he lived with his own family, and he actually did some bad stuff.
He was 8 years old at the time, had seen most of what had taken place, despite Shanda's efforts to try to shield him from some of it.
You said you don't want to talk about Timothy and your mom?
I don't want to talk about those two because bad boys with mamas do not mix.
They are asking questions in such a way as to elicit a truthful response. And in every regard, G's answers to those questions sort of checked the boxes for her so that she believed that he was being honest about it and talking about this basically a house of horrors that was going on inside the home.
What would you do to be a bad boy?
Like, talk to me, try to sneak food, try to sneak some water. And one of his punishments, where every time he did a bad boy thing, he gets a dose of hot sauce. A hot spicy sauce.
Yeah. And you said to me, so who gave him, who decided what the punishments were going to be?
Mama.
Everything was monitored. Everything was measured. Everything was controlled by her down to what he was eating.
Do you guys have a camera in your house?
Yes, we have some cameras.
Okay, what are the cameras for?
They're for watching Timothy before he died today. And Mama would be on the cameras and watch Timothy hard as she can, even if she gets tired. Then once she's no longer tired of watching him, she watches him again.
You said you thought some punishments were the reason Timothy died.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this one was one of them because it was uncomfortable. But over time, I think he had to do this in his small room.
While G's testimony was chilling, prosecutors needed more proof before they could charge Shanda. Then, a pivotal discovery blew the case wide open.
I didn't really check this one.
As it turns out, the camera that was in the closet actually did have a tiny micro SD card in it. I don't know if they just didn't realize that it was in there and didn't remove it and didn't destroy it. But for whatever reason, it was still in that camera when it was seized by the police. So we ultimately did get video footage from inside that closet.
The extremely disturbing video showed the final moments of Timothy's life and directly contradicted the story that Shanda had told police.
Yeah, go. I just want to make it look like he's in that bed. He's probably not. Come on, anyway. Yeah.
And then the medical examiner's report came in.
The autopsy ultimately revealed that the cause of death was malnutrition, extreme malnutrition combined with some unusual signs that you wouldn't expect. There were signs of hypothermia, which initially there was no explanation as to why he would be suffering from hypothermia. This was the middle of the summer.
Convinced they had enough evidence to charge Shanda with murder, prosecutors issued an arrest warrant.
We made the determination that we were going to charge her with open murder and first-degree child abuse for the death of Timothy Ferguson.
But to secure a murder conviction, prosecutors faced a daunting challenge, proving Shanda deliberately caused Timothy's death. That's where Paul came in.
The sound is kind of messed up. Gotcha. Sorry.
We made the decision, it was within 2 or 3 days of her arrest, to see if he would cooperate with the prosecution here to ultimately to get to our goal, which was to convict Shanda of the murder here.
So how long do you think you were spending in that closet?
Couple of weeks, maybe.
If Paul agreed to testify against his mother, prosecutors agreed to recommend to the judge a sentence of between 9 and 15 years in prison.
People might say, well, you didn't necessarily need to work with Paul. I'd push back on that. Ultimately, him presenting himself to the jury in such a way as to show, like, yes, I did these things, but to sort of put a far more human face on it than frankly, that Shanda was able to do in any of her testimony or any of her efforts to fight these charges.
When we return, Shanda VanderArk goes on trial for the child abuse and murder of her teenage son, Timothy.
I'm looking for that subtitle,
Timothy Ferguson was
audio
found at his
real
mother,
quick.
Shanda VanderArk's home. An autopsy revealed he died from extreme malnutrition and hypothermia. As Shanda's murder trial began, the prosecution wasted no time in laying out the shocking details in the case against her.
How does a 15-year-old child die as a result of malnutrition? How is a 15-year-old child?
Hey God.
63 pounds under the average weight. How is a 15-year-old child in literally the 0 percentile for weight? He didn't just become 69 pounds overnight. He got that way over an extended period of time. And he got that way because the people, or primarily the person who was supposed to care for him, wasn't doing that. You don't have to take my word for it. You will hear in the text messages between Paul Ferguson and Shanda VanderArk the extent of the horrors they inflicted upon Timothy.
Due to the horrific nature of the alleged abuse, there would be no plea deal. The prosecution would only accept one outcome.
Our objective, obviously, right from the start, was to obtain a first-degree murder conviction through that felony murder process, which would mean that the judge would have no discretion, that the judge would have to impose a mandatory life without parole sentence.
The only person standing between Shanda and life in prison was her defense attorney, Fred Johnson.
He's the head of the public defender office in the county of Muskegon. He's a very good attorney. He makes great connections with juries, and he's really just an excellent attorney to deal with.
The feeling was very much mutual.
He is highly experienced, highly skilled, highly organized. He is a very difficult prosecutor to face across the hall because he's not going to make any mistakes.
In addition to mutual respect, the two attorneys had something else in common. They both knew Shanda VanderArk.
She had been a clerk for one of the judges here in the county, and I had met her in that capacity.
I first met Shanda VanderArk about a year or so before Timothy passed away. No indication from any interaction I had with her leading up to that point that she was just basically a prison guard, that she just kept her child imprisoned.
Now Shanda was being tried for murder in the very court where she used to work.
Okay, I'm going to skip
Johnson
through this
found
since we just
himself
watched it. There are a few parts that when I was messaging, any of the new parts I might skip to. So I'm going to skip the trial parts because we already seen it. There's just a few parts. Let's see. Ugh, yeah, look, they did a cartoon of him. So they made him wear diapers. And then that's another thing I'm remembering all these details. They gave him, 30 seconds to go pee and 60 seconds to poop or something like that. Remember, they timed him to go to the bathroom. And he had a time limit that he had. One for a certain time for number one and a certain time for number two. And then they gave him a diaper. And then when he had to go, he had to let him know because they locked him from the outside. And so he would have to ask. And then he would go on himself. I mean, because he's probably scared to ask. So they gave him a diaper. And the ice baths. Oh my God. I can't stand them. They are so evil. I forgot about this case. It's bringing back everything. Ew, I hate them so much. All right, hold on.
Around 6 p.m.
I just can't.
It would be the last time he would see his brother alive. Later that night, Shanda dragged Timothy from the bath to his small room.
I think it's actually the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. She holds his mouth shut.
That's right.
And when he breathes through his nose, she says, "See, dummy, you don't have to breathe through your mouth." And leaves him. And that is literally the last human contact that Timothy has with somebody before he passes away. When did you next become aware that something was happening with Timothy? The next morning.
Can you imagine that? Since they had the video, yeah, she was mad he was breathing through his mouth. Was he making too much noise? So she holds his mouth shut to make him breathe through his nose, and then calls him a dummy and says, "See, you could breathe through your nose." Oh my God, can you get any more evil? I mean, you really can't. You really can't. I can't stand her.
At that point.
From that moment on, Paul becomes an eyewitness to the cover-up of a murder.
Yeah, there's Paul.
Do you remember what your mother said when you asked her if we should call 911? She said no.
The second video recovered from the small room captures Shanda coaching Paul on what their cover story should be.
That's what we're going to listen to.
Before
Audio.
911 is called, was there some discussion about a hunger strike?
Oh, I can't.
Yes.
What was the discussion about the hunger strike at that point?
Shanda said to say that he'd gone on a hunger strike. We found him on the bed.
Seems obvious, but who is she referring to?
Timothy.
He was very upfront. His story never got mixed up. Paul was just kind of that the icing on the top to really come through and say, yep, these are the things that we did, and just hit everything home.
Coming up, Shanda
to give innocent explanations for actions the prosecution had cast in an evil light.
Why did you have all those monitors and cameras in your home?
When Timothy came to live with us, his stepmother informed me that they had motion sensors. They weren't as tech savvy as I was. I worked in tech before law school. I worked in tech support for several years. But they had motion sensors and she told me that she didn't sleep at night. She only slept when he was at school because he was into everything.
What was your intent when you would administer punishments to Timothy?
To get him to behave.
Was it ever your intent to harm him?
No, absolutely not.
And what was the point of the hot sauce?
Because we had tried multiple other discipline methods, and he thought maybe that would get him to stop misbehaving.
Okay.
He suggested it to me, and I was so wrung out, I was willing to try just about
And
anything.
she's lying because she's the one that suggested
And
it.
then caring for Timothy
Or did
became
it.
even more difficult when Shanda's husband suffered a stroke.
I don't. Sauce. Well, then it's not a punishment, is it?
The prosecutor had
Yeah,
one more
try to-
surprise in store for Shanda.
Oh, I can't.
During cross-examination, Shanda was now claiming she gave Timothy a warm bath the night he died.
If you're claiming you put your child in the tub hours before he dies of malnutrition, we all know what he looks like. He would have had to look like that when you put him in the tub.
So Robert
Heck
selected a
yes.
few crime scene photos of Timothy and walked over to confront Shanda.
So I walk up, I set the photographs down, and again, these are photos that she saw the week before and did not react to. This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub? You know, she doesn't quite react at first, and then she,
Stop it.
I'll say, pretends to throw up.
Yeah.
Those who
Oh,
were sitting close to Shanda when she appeared to get sick
so fake.
didn't buy it.
Sorry.
Jury didn't buy it,
From a jury's
Shanda.
point of view, if you're going to do that, you
Sorry,
better vomit in
jerk.
that box. Because if you don't, they think you're deceiving them.
Sure.
And that's exactly what they thought. And I know because I asked them.
The prosecution saved one of its strongest pieces of evidence against Shanda for last. Video from inside the small room showing her continuing to mentally and physically abuse Timothy during the last moments of his life. Prosecutors feared that showing the video might overly bias the jury, so they had an officer who watched it describe the horror it contained.
Did it record any audio from Ms. VanderArk as she was pulling Timothy into the closet and positioning him on the floor?
It did. I could hear Miss VanderArk tell Timothy that he is pathetic.
Why? Oh my God. I
And then
can't.
adds, but I already knew
Is
that
it-
as she was dragging him in. He can be seen, his chest
I
rising,
wanna
lowering very
punch her.
slightly,
I want to
small little movements. And then there is a point in time where you stop seeing that and his body just kind of relaxes. And it appears to me that he has died at that point.
After 3 days of testimony,
can't.
the
I
jury
hate it.
retired to consider Shanda's fate.
cannot stand
They
it.
returned with a verdict in just over an hour.
Count 1, charging open
She
murder
wasn't
involving
there
the
for
death
the
of Timothy
verdict.
Ferguson. We find her guilty of first-degree felony
It's
murder.
sick or something.
Count 2, first-degree child
Which
abuse.
sucks because they didn't make her like that's not a thing that she has to be there to hear the verdict, which is bullcrap. She needed to freaking sit there while they said guilty. That made me so mad that she wasn't there for that. Because was she sick? I forget if she claimed it was like, wasn't it like a mental breakdown or mental something? But now she's using that for, oh, let me get a retrial because I was not, fit to do it. I was, in a catatonic state, and now she could use this that she was too sick to be there, but who cares? You know what? If she gets a retrial, she's going to get found guilty again, but I don't even think she'll get a retrial. All right, guys, I'll play that video and then. All right, let me play that audio. So that part where it said the officer was basically listening to the audio, he was watching it, telling the jury what was going on. Well, that's the audio that they played in trial. Like I said, because they didn't show the video, but I tried to do subtitles. This was, a while back when I did it. So I don't remember if I got all of them. I haven't watched it since I uploaded it, but let's see here.
Hear it, but I don't have time. And then when I look,
okay, hold on, let me get it to where it's
all right, guys, here it is.
Okay, here we go. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Again, for those in the audience that have not seen any of these images, this is not easy footage to watch.
Really hard to hear. She just points this out when she's like, "You okay, good boy." She's talking to her dogs because she doesn't talk to Timothy all night. She's talking to her dogs right there. She's ridiculous.
Yeah, what's wrong? I don't feel good or anything. Timothy? Look, sorry. Alright. Look, sorry, you gotta move. Am I wrong? No. Oh my God. Timothy. Come on, buddy. Timothy. No, this can't happen. Timothy, hey. Is it okay? I still know that. It's okay. I'm feeling okay. He's resisting. He's resisting steps. Is he okay? He feels he's cold. Yeah, I know it's cold, but he's not stiff, so is he okay? Sit him up, please. Sit him up. Please, baby, come on. Timothy. See if you can open his jaw. Timothy. Come on, give him a rescue breath. Come on, quick. What? No. Okay. And it's still very, very wet. So I think I feel moving. Timothy. Hey. Hey. Come on, buddy. Timothy. This is that one. Come on. Okay. Come on, buddy. Shanda, stop. Okay, give another. A breath, please. It's fine, we're gonna do it tonight, baby. Yeah. Timothy. Come on. Come on, buddy. I'm gonna go get some water, see if we can get it done. Come on, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey. Come She okay? Come on, okay. So, it's all put in the water. We can't close his eyes, but that's usually a sign that he's not gone, but. Come on, buddy. Can you open the door for me? Yeah. Come on. Come on. Please, buddy. Come on. Come on. Please, come on, Timothy. Come on, buddy. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on, Timothy. Here. Let's get out of here and sit him up or something. Come on. I may end up being late. Let's go make sure he's okay. No, I gotta be checked on him. Yeah. Come on. You gotta put 5 minutes into that. Come on. You're okay. You're fast. Your head back when you do that. Stomach away. Keep going, keep going, keep going. What the heck? He's throwing up. Well, then, that's a good thing. Come on. Go give me a towel quick. Come on, buddy. Oh my gosh, this cannot be happening. No. Come on, buddy. Come on, Timothy. Come on, buddy. Hurry up, please. There's one in the bathroom. Come on. Come on, Timothy. Come on, buddy. Come on. Can't do it, but we can smell quite quick. Come on. Okay, that's hold that. Come on. Come on. Come on. No, that's fine. There's nothing in this smell. There shouldn't be. Come on, just come on, get it flat and keep going. Come on. No, Charlie, get back. Come on, buddy. Oh my, get back. Come on, buddy. Mama? What? You hear something? Keep going. Keep going. Here, you turn off. It should be faster. I don't understand. I don't either. Should we call an ambulance? Not yet. Come on, baby. Come on, buddy. Come on. Ah, what's this? Oh. Come on, buddy. You should be able to put stuff out here. Oh my God, come on, buddy. Come on, sweetie. Get in your car. Yeah, it is. Come on, buddy. Yeah, put it on there very quickly. Come on, buddy. Yeah. Come here, Timothy. Come on, Shanda. Somebody check on him. Yeah. Go. Come on, Shanda, please, baby. Try not. Now is not the time. No, it's not. Come on, Yeah. Good. Good. One. One. Yeah, I know, there's nothing I can do. When I push in and hit stuff like that, or when I go in, you watch. Yeah. Then he's not watching. That's nothing new. You sure it's not the first thing with him? No, I'm very small. Nobody. Back to it. Jesus, come back to it. Somebody. No. No. Wait. It's already one. Somebody. Can you come on? Come on. Yeah. How do you run? You saw something you want to tell me. I know this one. No, I'm sorry. Here, I'll be rest of you. Give me the help. Not too much. Come on, come on, buddy. Come on. Yeah, but it's just close. No, keep going. You can hold that dream. Come on, buddy. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on, buddy. Come on. You have your belt. No. You already put it on. I just want to make it look like you didn't have it. I'm sorry. I have fun on the line. Yeah. Oh, there's one.
Okay, I just want to play the part from when the cops get there after that body cam that came out where they're still at the house and they ask Paul about the hunger strike and he doesn't go along with it. He acts like he doesn't know. So I just thought that would be good to show, like right there she's telling him that and then he doesn't go with the plan. Here's that clip.
Did you know that he was in this hunger strike?
I think did I tell you or not? I don't know if I did or not. I don't think you did.
Because he's skin and bone.
I know, and I just, how did he?
He's really.
Well, he doesn't communicate with him hardly at all. Like they say hi and they don't. Yeah, he's.
Are you guys full brothers or half brothers?
They're full. The only half is the one that's in there.
Okay.
We are full. Yeah.
Okay, so back to the audio.
I don't know what to do. I woke up to go to work. Yeah, and my son's not breathing. I woke up to check on him before. He's 15. He's been on a hunger strike. He wouldn't eat lately. And I've been checking on him all night because he's saying he was feeling good last night. And I woke up to get ready to work this morning and he's not breathing. Yes. He's on fast. Can I put you on speaker? Yes, he's on the fly. Get him off the bed. He's on the walk bed. I went to taking laps a year or two ago, but I know how to do it, yeah. Okay, let's put that speaker. Okay, there, you're on speaker. Yep. Okay. He ate yesterday, but he he's driving me crazy because he wouldn't eat hardly. And so he got really skinny and he won't eat. And I was just about to call the doctor this morning because he's just been horrible. I mean, he's just a teenager. He's 15 and he didn't eat yesterday, but not a lot. I checked on him at, I don't know, 5:30. Yeah. Yeah. Go on. I told you to go on it. Shanda. Yes. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes. Yes, I do. Sense his nose, open his airway. He's got like brown stuff coming out of his mouth. Yep. I don't know, it's brown liquid. Scoop it out. It's like dribbling out. Okay. Yeah. 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 Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, my 20-year-old standing right here. 21, 22, 24, 25, 26. Okay. 30, 31, 32, 34, yeah, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 55. Yeah, he is. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 37, 38, 39, 40, 42, 43, 44, 45, it's on the spectrum high functioning, and they have ADHD. Yes. It's not the first time he's done this with not eating, so. Okay. He's still going. It's possible. Because my husband had said that I had a stroke in January, and then his dad and stepmom called last week, told us they were divorced. And so it's been rough, and he's been, like I said, he's done a hunger strike before. I was still more worried. Hold on, so I got it. So, well, I'm here, sir. I don't think there's anything in the brief, honestly. Benadryl is the only thing. Or, offering Excedrin, extra strength. It's not a hunger strike. Yeah. About 5:30 this morning. And then I came down about, I don't know.
Just a couple quick comments on this. I wanted to point out how she was very dependent on Paul. Like, Paul was the adult in this whole situation. I feel like he was the one, like, keeping her calm. He was the, like, almost like the voice of reason. He was the one trying to do everything. He's the one that like started CPR and like did stuff. She was bossing him around. Come on, quick, do this, do that, do this. Come on, go get a towel, go do that. He's giving him CPR, doing all this stuff. She makes him run and get a towel, telling him to hurry up, bossing him around as he's the only one doing anything. She's just sitting there bossing him. You know what I'm saying? And then like asking him, like, oh my God, you know, what are we gonna do? Like he was more of an adult than she was in this situation. So what do you guys?
Anyway, wow. So yeah, guys, check out my playlist. I was going through, it's like, man, I forgot I do have like, hold on, I'll show you. Do I have it up yet? Oh yeah, here. I don't know how to make it big so you guys could read it. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's sick. So like all the jail calls, and then like I go through the family life. I have an interview with Shanda's sister. I go through the court documents, what the family member said. So do you remember, was it Eric? I forget which one said how she was really inappropriate with her kids, with Paul, the way that she would like hug them or lay with them. What was it again? See, I'm forgetting some of the specifics, but it was something where she was inappropriate, the way she interacted with Paul, like almost like a not the way a mother and a son should interact. And I can't remember who said that. Why am I thinking Eric said that? Or was it Eric's wife? Their stepmom. One of the family members said it was just really inappropriate. So yeah, I forget some of this stuff, but I was remembering it as different things were said. It's like, oh my God, that's right. The shackles, that's right. This, that. Oh, she's sick. The hot sauce, the ice baths, this case was one of the most sickest, freaking evilest cases. Yeah, the incident reports are really interesting, going through like what teachers said. The teacher said about the kids, very interesting, and a lot. There was a lot to go over. The text messages, it took me 6 parts to do it. So if you want to do part 1, and then each part in the description will have the rest of the parts. So if you just get part 1, then you could find the rest of them. Those are interesting. The text messages between him and Paul and her leading up to the death. Thought, you know, basically like give him hot sauce, do this, do that, like how to take care of Timothy and what he's doing. It's just sick. And then of course the jail calls with him and his fiance he meets, you know, through talking on the phone, but then they end up breaking up. They're not together anymore. And you get to hear him talk to his brother, his dad. You get to hear Shanda talk to her friend. Shanda ends up getting a girlfriend. I don't think this girl, she's with that girlfriend, but she ends up getting a girlfriend that's not actually in prison with her. Like she ended up meeting a girl just by like writing and calling her. So somebody you would expect like, oh, she's in a girl's prison, she's gonna be with women, then she would meet somebody in there. By now she might have, but she gets a girlfriend outside of the prison. But the thing is she never dated the same sex. And I think she even wait, wasn't she against it? I'm trying to remember what I heard about her. I think she was like almost was against like being gay, and then she ends up having this girlfriend, and then the girlfriend so she didn't start talking to her after she got transferred. So you know how she was in the county jail, so I got the jail call. She didn't talk to many people in the county jail. Paul had more phone calls than her. But then when they got transferred into the prison, they didn't release any of the calls from there. But the girl that she ended up meeting through letters and the phone, she ended up recording a couple phone calls with her and Shanda, and she sent them to me to play on a live. Well, I played it on a live, and then she ended up making me take it down for some reason. Instead of she just wanted it to be live and not to stay up. So I ended up making it private, but yeah, so that was interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. What else? I'm looking at the titles of the. I have it pinned. I have my playlist pinned on the comments if you guys want to check it out. It's so interesting. Like I said, there's so much to go through and all the phone calls. Let me see what else we got. Yeah, I did the interview with Shanda's sister. Um, Shanda trial highlights exploring body cam. I'm just looking at titles real quick. Hold on. Unveiling dark past, treatment of Timothy to compared to G's, because she treated G's different. G had a different father. Oh my God, I forget what was his name? Now I forget his name. He ended up dying. Well, he had a stroke. Right before, not too long before this happened, he had a stroke, and then he had to go. He lived with his parents, so his parents could take care of him. He ended up dying after all this happened. G's dad. I can't think of his name for some reason. VanderArk. What was his name? It's been a while, guys. Adam. That's right, Adam. But he was in a wheelchair, and yeah, what Timothy's teachers noticed about him and his home life. That's interesting. Shanda fighting for parental rights. Shanda's statements. Dark past. Oh, there it is. Unveiling the truth. Inappropriate physical affection. Statements from Shanda's husband and son. Yeah, that's so I was right. I remembered it right. It was as her husband that said it. That it was no, it might have been Adam that said it. It was Adam, I think, that said that he was inappropriate. It wasn't Eric. I think it was Adam, her current husband. So Adam was married to her. He was still married to her when this all happened, but he was living with his parents because he had a stroke and it was too much, to take care of. So his parents were taking care of him. So yeah, he wasn't living with them, but he was still married to her. And he's the one that said that she was really inappropriate, the affection with like Paul and just with Paul. I don't know if it was with anybody else. I don't know if G, but obviously not Timothy. She hated, you could tell she hated Timothy. I remember I think it was on the stand, right? Where or it might have been in a statement where she was basically saying how, like, with his pregnancy, she developed all this stuff, health wise, like she had issues after, like when she was pregnant with him, it did all this stuff to her, like, and she was like one of those people that had everything. Like, I suffer from this, that, and probably makes it up half the stuff. So it's like almost like she hated him since he was in her when she was pregnant with him. I feel like because maybe she had some issues. I think she had I forget what she claimed she got when she was pregnant with him. Just a freaking Oh, I forgot about this, guys. This is so interesting. Shanda's mom, she has a history. She comes from money and trust fund. So her mom hired somebody to kill. Wait, hold on. Yeah, her mom hired somebody to kill her mom. So basically, her mom hired somebody to kill her grandma. And she ended up going to prison for, I think, a year. It never went through, but supposedly. And actually, I talked to Shanda's sister about it. So I did an interview with Shanda's sisters on the playlist. I got into the family, her mom, and her mom's past and stuff. So her mom's kind of took after her mom, the way her mom lies. And I mean, was gonna hire somebody to kill her own mom, supposedly. I mean, there's some conspiracy. I don't want to say no, not conspiracy, but there's some thoughts where some believe it's true, some believe it's a lie. I don't know, but she did get guilty. I mean, she got charged. She went to prison for it. And then when she went to prison, I think for that year, I think it was just a year. Because I mean, obviously it didn't happen, but they sent the kids, with Shanda, Paige is her sister, to they lived with this family, and I guess they suffered some abuse when they were living with that family. And guess what? One of the punishments was hot sauce. So her saying like it was Paul's idea to try the hot sauce, she's full of it. It was her idea. Oh, and wait, what was it? It was Paige's. Hold on. There was like SA going on in the house. There was physical abuse. I think was it Paige? I'm trying to remember one of them. One of the fathers are one of the kids. Try to remember. I don't know. I have to refresh and watch these videos. It's just interesting. Her family home life. They come from like I said, they had trust funds, wealthy. Her grandparents were really wealthy, and yeah, definitely interesting. The history too. So, you guys want to go down that rabbit hole? Like I have a whole playlist that's really, really, yeah, interesting. The whole history, and then what became of Shanda and Paul, and they definitely didn't break the cycle. They just repeated it. The text messages are horrible. Here's the interview with Shanda's sister, Paige. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I have the playlist pinned in up there. If you guys see it, I'll share it again. Wait, why isn't it? So you share it. Hold on a second. Hold on one second, guys. Here it is. This is where you share it. I'll share it again. Here's the playlist. Just go through. If you guys are interested in this case, I mean, or learning about one, it'll definitely have you mad and just and sad, crying and angry and can't stand her. Anyway, so that's that, guys. I ordered the stuff. I'm anxious to get that 75-page appeal. Well, I don't know if you call it appeal, but basically why she believes that she should get a new trial. So hopefully I'll get that soon. I'll read it with you guys. And then I ordered, any of the other stuff that looks like it could be available now. So we will see how long that'll take. And so be looking for that. I am gonna probably do the part 2 of Rosemary tomorrow. I wanted a day in between. Originally, I was gonna do them back to back. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a day in between to try to get, people caught up with the first one, and then so I'll probably do the premiere tomorrow. So look for that. And yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you. I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something else, but I don't. I think that's all. Hold on, let me look at see if I get reminded if there's anything else. No, I guess that's it. All right, guys, I'll see you guys probably tomorrow. It'll be a premiere, so I'll just be in chat. And oh, thank you. My tie-dye, thank you. Got this at Quonset, I think Quonset Hunt, my favorite tie-dye place. I grew up, it was just my favorite store growing up. So it's one of those cool stores that have tie-dyes and cool CDs, like underground music that you can't find. What was that CD place that was a big chain that had all the commercialized music? It was the big where you went and got CDs, where I always got them at Constant because I liked more like music that wasn't commercialized, more underground stuff so I just usually get my music from Constant. But once in a while, I'd have to go to the, Camel. Oh, it was a Camel. It was always in the mall, and it was like this huge CD place. Is it Camelot? Does that ring a bell? But yeah, Quantanut would have like incense burners and cool like keychains and cool little glass, cool I don't know, just a bunch of cool stuff. It always smelled like incense, like nag champa or patchouli, or I don't know. It was cool. But I get a lot of my tie dyes there because they have really good tie dyes. They're always like good quality. I always love the way they fit and the way they look. But also Soul, I wear Soul's Soul made me. Now I have like what, 4 maybe tie dye she made me. I have that zip up hoodie. Well, 2 zip up hoodies, but I think one doesn't fit right. One might be too small. I could do a giveaway. And then I have a couple, maybe 3 or 4 short sleeve tie dyes. They're really good. I like those. They're awesome too. Oh, Spencer's was like a gag, not a gag gift, but yeah, Spencer's was like a not gag. I guess they do have gag gifts, but no, Quantanut was different than Spencer's, but I remember Spencer's. Was it Camelot that had the CDs? Oh yeah, let me see. Timothy tribute. Like, yeah, let me find it on my list. Hold on. I could play that. I'll end with that and then I'll just turn it off. After it ends, I'll just end the live then. Let me find it real quick though. I have to go through this. Hold on. 1 second, guys. Exploring. Yeah, and these 2 right here are good. Like part 1, exploring Shonda's and Paul's life, what we can learn through their social media, exploring what we okay, that's social media. Okay, let me try the open panel, body cam, revelations, the incident report. This is a really good one. The incident report where I go through it has some really good stuff. But then I break it, I'm pretty sure I break it down into parts where I do pre-records into parts, different sections, because this is the whole incident report, I think. And then I break it into smaller parts for people that I think I do somewhere. Okay, inappropriate relationship, drunk with power, disturbing truth, Paul's own words reveal his psychopathic traits. All right, inappropriate physical affection, shocking revelations, dark past, what her family and coworkers really think about her. Paul's treatment of Timothy compared to G's, transcripts of Shanda and Paul and Timothy's days before he died. Oh yeah, the transcript, that's right. Shanda fighting for parental rights. Better reactions in sentencing. Lies, more lies. Yep. She loses parental rights. So she lost her parental rights. She wanted to keep her parental rights to G, even being in prison, to have control over different aspects of his life. She wanted, but she lost them, thank God. And then what Timothy's teacher noticed about him and his home life. That's interesting. For sentencing hearing. Shonda's in her ex's custody court docs and social media post. Old family friends reveals surprising insights into Shanda and Eric's past. Holly, she comes in. I haven't seen her in a while, but she came in for a while. She'll pop in. I met her through this case. It was Adam's like best friend growing up. Her husband, Shonda's husband, or her husband at the time of the murders, or at the murder, I should say. Adam, it was her. Oh, that's not the one though. Never mind. I don't think that's the video I did with her. I think that's another one. It's past life. I'm trying to look for the tribute, so I'm just going through it. That yeah, that was a different family friend. I think. There's one with Holly. I don't know where that's at, somewhere. Okay, so here's all the jail calls. Where is the tribute? I hope I have it. Sometimes I'll forget to add some in the playlist, not on purpose, but I'll go through and sometimes I somehow miss it or it gets undone. Her family history, uncovering interesting things, deep diving into her history. Info from family member to clear up misconceptions surrounding the case. Going back over skip parts of the incident report. Where is hold on, guys. Where's the tribute? This is Holly. This is the one with Holly. Interview with Shanda's VanderArk's ex-husband, Adam's best friend. Come with questions. That's her. And look, that's she shared some pictures of Shanda and Adam, like, when they got married, because she was there for the wedding. But you'll see Holly pop in here every once in a while. Are you here, Holly? She might be watching now because of the topic. Where's the tribute? I'm looking, I promise. I can't find it. That's why I decided to go one by one and read them so I don't miss it, because I already scrolled up and down looking for it and I couldn't find it. So I figured if I go and I read out the titles, I can't miss it, right? These are all phone calls right here. Here's the text messages, part 5, part 6. The other parts are up there. Paul's testimony. Paul testifies too in her case. He didn't have a trial because he took the deal. Here's that, but it's probably private because she made me. That really upset me because she said I could do it and then was like, no, you can't keep it up. So I don't know. And because I didn't order, because they didn't release the phone calls in prison. That wasn't something that they allowed to order them. So she recorded it. Her girlfriend recorded it and then let me use the recording of them two talking. Actually, Shanda knew. She told Shanda that she was sending it to me. So Shanda knew that she recorded it and sent it to me and that I was playing it on the video. She actually knew. Okay. But I don't know why she changed. I don't know why. I think she got overwhelmed after it was out, all day and all night. I think I don't know. She just was like, no, you can't keep it up. I just thought it was going to be live. I'm like, well, my lives get uploaded into the videos all the time. So we go. Here's the interview with Paige, Shanda's sister. Where's the tribute? What the heck? You know what? It's at the beginning of one of my videos. Remember, you guys? That's right. It's not just that. I played it at the beginning. I forgot. Which video is it? Hold on. I think I know which video it's at. Hold on, guys. Don't leave. I think I remember. I think it's the one with the friend. Did I already pass that? Yeah, because let me see. Let me make sure. Hey. Whoa. Yeah, here it is. All right, I'll play this and then I'm going to end it after this, guys. So I'll say bye now. Bye, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow in the premiere. All right, here we go.
Sometimes I'm so hollow. I hear words echoing. It's been a long road, and there's a war inside of me. A voice that I love and a voice that I hate, and they won't let me go. No, they fight till I'm breaking, and they're taking all of me. But when the oceans roar, I lift my eyes up till I find you. Battle torn, but you say the scars, they don't define you. And oh, I wanna feel that it's true. And I just wanna let you use. Don't know who to follow when I'm hollow.
Sometimes I get broken by the weight of my doubts. Feels like I'm holding all the blame inside myself. The more that I'm fighting, the more I'm surrounded. The fear and the light, they pull till I'm drowning, and they're bound.
When the oceans roar, I lift my eyes up till I find you. Battle torn, but you say the scars, they don't define you. And oh, I wanna feel that it's true, not just wanna lie to you. Don't know where to follow when I'm hollow. To the when the oceans roar, I lift my eyes up till I find you. Battle torn, but you say the scars, they don't define you. And oh, I wanna feel that it's true, not just wanna lie to you. Don't know who to follow when I'm hollow. Don't know who to follow when I'm hollow.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Hey guys. Oh, I didn't